सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We move into the fifth Anuvaka. So I'll read the entire fifth Anuvaka, chant it. If you can also follow. नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युक्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो ईरिषाय च शिपिविष्टाय च नमो मीडुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नमः आशवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शीभ्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय चावस्वन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्याय च। So we enter this beautiful fifth Anuvaka. Every Anuvaka or most of the Anuvakas are used as a mantra for upasana. Right since the beginning of the first Anuvaka, we have been seeing different segments of these Anuvakas as mantra for upasana. Fifth and sixth Anuvaka together have one dhyana shloka and it has to be recited as one mantra for upasana purposes. Now what does this particular Anuvaka do? This fifth and sixth Anuvaka along with this dhyana shloka, when chanted for 11 days, at least a minimum of 108 times, it has the following benefits. What are the following benefits? If you have any litigations, they will be resolved. If you have any court hearings, that will also be resolved. Not just that, you will also gain longevity, prosperity and good progeny. So these many benefits are there with this fifth and sixth Anuvaka together. So what is the dhyana shloka? What kind of Shiva that we meditate upon while chanting this particular, these two Anuvakas together? गौरी कराम्बुजन्यस्तं स्वर्णशैक शरासनम इक्षुहस्तं नरारूढ़ं नरनारी तनुं स्मरेत. नरनारी तनुं स्मरेत, otherwise known as Ardhanari. Here Naranari gives equal prominence to both. Ardhanari is, it is predominantly Shiva whose half is Parvati. Naranari, they are equal. Status is little different. Naranari tanum smaret. This Ardhanarishwara Swarupa I meditate upon, or we meditate upon, or we should be meditating upon. Smaret. One should be meditating upon. May we meditate upon this Ardhanarishwara Swarupa. And how is this Ardhanarishwara Swarupa? Gauri Karambujanyastam. There is a little strange that Parvati ji is seeming to hold with her side of the hand Bhagwan Shiva. And how is that hand? It is like the Kara Ambuja. Ambuja is a lotus. If you go to the dancers, right, they'll do this. So that. It shows the lotus. Or a single hand gesture, they do this. So she is holding the delicate hand, which is as delicate as a lotus, holding Bhagwan Shiva. Swarna Shaila Sharasanam. The entire Meru Parvata, the glowing golden Meru Parvata, is held as his bow. Now Meru Parvata, Meru and Sumeru, which is in the Himalayan ranges, it is just a physical form. There in the middle of the 14 Bhuvanas, there is one in a totally different realm, and that Meru, which is shining in the golden form, is his bow. And what is he using as an arrow? Ikshuhastam nararudham. Ikshuka. Ikshuka is the sugar cane. Sugar cane is the arrow. Now here sugar cane, if you have seen, even in the Devi form, Lalita, Rajarajeshwari, they have the sugar cane. Sugar cane indicates or is signifying. Now if you look at it from the external, it looks very hard and difficult to get through. But once you learn how to get through and know what to do with it, meaning chew on it thoroughly. As you chew on it, what comes out is the essence. So what is Bhagavan Shiva shooting at? Shooting with is the Ikshuka, which is indicating the Vedic knowledge. And what is the suggested meaning? Suggested meaning is, where the Vedic knowledge is not just for memorizing and keep chanting, but chew on it. And once that rasa becomes your own, what happens to the leftover? Spit it out. That is the purpose of scriptures. Having gained that knowledge, that which is being indicated through the scriptures, having become one with it, the purpose of Vedas is served. Now here Veda does not mean some kind of a stringent rules and regulations and only chanting which is given by some Brahmana or somebody there. Veda always has to be understood as the Shabda Pramana. Pramana does not mean proof here. Pramana means the means. Pramakaranam iti pramanam. The means to understand that knowledge. The other means are you are impossible to reach to. The only means is this Veda. And entire Vedic literature, what does it indicate? The very word Veda means with, to know, knowledge is its purpose. So that knowledge is indicated through the Ikshu Hastam. And who is he aiming it at? Throwing that Ikshu Hastam. He is aiming at Nararudham, aimed directly at the human beings. तुम भी अपनी जिंदगी सुधार लो जाओ. Compassionate. Do we really deserve that opportunity? A question mark. They say that Purva Janma Sukritam. Still doubtful. Because in this very life, if we look at our own karma, how much of punya and how much of papa? You don't need to answer me. Which weighs more? No, don't answer me. It is for your own reflection. Knowing that in this very life that many papa has been done, Purva Janma Kritam Punyam, it's a question mark. In spite of that, I think we have a benefit of doubt that Bhagavan graciously has given us this beautiful opportunity. And we have to thank Parvati ji also, because he was in a pleasant mood. She was next to him, half of him. So meaning all kinds of human beings are qualified for this knowledge. Such Lord Shiva, along with Parvati ji, while meditating upon that beautiful form, that he is giving this opportunity to us, this 5th and 6th Anuvaka has to be chanted. It's a very beautiful. Left hand. She is on the. No. They are half, right? She is on the left side. You are still imagining them as two. If they are two, then you get, but they are one, half each. She is on the left side with her left hand from the front. She is holding on to the other side of, like with my left hand I am holding my right bhuja or the shoulder. Now the reason I sighed is not because of the confusion, it is because I understood what you are trying to say. Now the picture is clear. एकदम अक्खा clear है. Okay, now repeat the mantra. No. Before we go to the mantra, so far we have seen in the Anuvakas till the 4th one, we have seen that Bhagavan Shiva is worshipped as Pataye Namaha. Sarvabhaumatva of Bhagavan has been indicated. But moving forward, there is only one Namaha for each mantra. Namo Bhavaya cha Rudraya cha. One Namaha for each mantra. And in this section, Lord Shiva is presented to us as the Nimitta Karana. What does a Nimitta mean? That is a Telugu meaning. Karana is purpose. What does Nimitta mean? Ram. You will have to really pay a lot of attention to these technical terms also, because every time I have to keep explaining it. Nimitta, Upadana, Karana Karana. Have you heard of these terms? I must have said it in even in the beginning of it. Nimitta means efficient cause. Upadana means the material cause. Efficient cause meaning the intelligence. Upadana means the material, upa-adana, with which he has created this world. And what is the instrument that he has used? That is called karana. Karana karana. Nimitta, upadana, karana karana, Ishvara. So in here, it is his nimitta karana, his efficient cause of everything is explained. The very first mantra we will go through that nimitta karana again. Don't look at me like not clear. Can you explain again? We will go through that again. In this particular Anuvaka, fifth one, we have 15 mantras, 15 rik. The first 4 adjectives given here in the dative case, these first 4 indicate pancha kritya or pancha kriya. What is this pancha kriya? We will see that once we get into the mantra. So repeat after me the first mantra. Namo bhavaya cha rudraya cha. Easier, right? Easier than the last set of mantras. Simple words. Namo bhavaya cha rudraya cha. If you have seen people who chant Rudram, it is from here onwards they start picking up lot of speed. Namo bhavaya cha rudraya cha namo sharvaya cha pushpadaya cha namo neelagrivaya siddhikantaya cha namo. It is from here they pick speed because it is easier syllables, easier way to. Anyways, Namo bhavaya cha rudraya cha. Salutations to the Lord who is recognized as Bhava, Bhavaya. Salutations to the Lord who is recognized also as Rudraya. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. 3 we already know. Bandha, Mochana. These 5 together are called Panchakritya or Panchakriya, with which the creation is created, sustained, maintained and dissolved. These are the 5 kriyas. Srishti, Sthiti, Tirodhana or Laya, and then Bandha, Mochana. मुक्ति, संकट मोचन सुने होंगे ना आप, संकट मोचन हनुमान जी स्तोत्र. Even in Banaras there is one temple called Sankat Mochan Hanuman. Mochana means mukti dene wala, the one who can give mukti. Now in this particular mantra there are 2 aspects covered. The first one is Bhavaya. What does Bhavaya mean? भवन्ति प्राणिनः अस्मात् इति भवः. भवन्ति प्राणिनः अस्मात् इति भवः. The creation happens because of which, that which, whoever is that cause, that primordial cause is called bhava. Rodana hetu bhutam dukkham dravayati iti rudraha. That which makes us miserable and cry, hetu bhutam dukkham, the cause for such dukkha, dravayati. Dravayati literally means liquidates and flushes it out. The one who helps us flush it out, all our sorrows. Therefore he is called Rudra. Rodana hetu bhutam dukkham dravayati iti Rudraha. Now, getting into bhava. What does bhava mean? It is from the root word called bhu. In Sanskrit, bhu means to be, to exist. That one who exists at all times and everywhere. There is no time where he exists not. He exists always. He brings everything into existence and also sustains it. Such one is bhava. In fact, everyone, everything, including time and space, exists in him. Therefore, they are sustained. That is called bhava. And he is the presiding deity of the waters. Bhava is the presiding deity of water, Varuna. So how does this happen? He says, Sa ekaha. He is always the non-dual self. Non-dual, that which is, that where there is no scope for second to exist. Therefore, when the kids ask the question, God created everything. Who created God? Because the moment we go into that route and give a cause that such and such created God, do we stop there? No. Who created that? That which always exists, that which is eternal, does not need to be created. Like for our temporary purposes. Who created the altar? What who created? It's always been there for past 11, 12 years it has been there. Things may have been added in or changed, but the altar has always been there for our temporary purposes. So that which is always existing does not have a creation. That because of which time expresses, to date that is a silly effort. Are you getting the concept? Time comes way after, and that time which expresses way later, to map something in that limited perimeter, limited factor, is not just difficult, it is impossible. Such one is bhava. And what is he? He is non-dual, sa ekaha. This comes in the Shruti. So what happened when he was bahusyam praja yeyeti? Bahusyam, may I become many, may I express into multifolds. And he expresses himself as that Satvastu. Satvastu, the existential reality, that which always is, that expresses into this creation. So far it is easy. There is a little twist here, pay attention. So all this expressed or manifest world cannot exist without that cause which is Sat Swarupa. The cause alone is that reality. And the Jagat, if perceived as something other than existence, something other than that Sat Swarupa, that separateness, that difference that we see is called mithya. When it is said that there is Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. And poor Adi Shankaracharya ji always is bashed around with a criticism that he is Mayavadi. That whenever he finds himself cornered with logic, he shoots out of that situation saying everything is Maya anyway. For a peripheral reader, that is how it appears. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. He says this entire world is nothing but illusion. As the dream is illusion of the one who has awakened from the dream, similarly, the entire world is an illusion. You, me, the speech. Don't make a conclusion right now. That is my job. Give me that time to make a conclusion. Meaning, be with me in the logic. That is where the twist is. Though what you just commented is true, but that is not the standpoint that I am going to make today. So just continue with me. Okay. Getting back to the thought. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Whenever it is said that this Jagat is Mithya, what aspect of it is being called as Mithya? That has to be done. The Vivechana, the Viveka has to be done, and the discussion has to be correctly understood. Brahma eva Satyam. The Sat Padartha, the existential reality, is Brahman alone. Anything that is perceived, anything that is seen, viewed, interpreted as something other than the existence, because there is nothing which can exist without existence. There is nothing which can exist other than the existence. Therefore, when we talk about the world, we always use the word, what is this? It is always recognized as the isness. Isness is indicative of that existential reality. Even that which is missing, what is it recognized as? There should have been something here, and that is missing. It is still the existential reality alone. But where do we get carried away? Because our focus is not on the existential reality, we are focusing on that which we have named and tagged, the nama rupa, and our like and dislike for that nama and rupa which is superimposed on that existential truth. That superimposition becomes important. In and through, all the superimpositions are sustained by what? By that existential substratum alone. That existential substratum which is the basis, which is the base for all this which exists. Chara, achara, jada, chaitanya, all of this put together. Vyakta, avyakta. Is nothing but that existential truth. That existential truth is called bhavaya. Anything which is recognized other than that, what is our day-to-day experience? Our day-to-day experience is 180 degrees opposite. How many times have we heard this particular logic? At least a few times. N number of times. Okay, thank you. I was giving you benefit of doubt. At least a few times. N number of times. Okay. The N number of times that we have heard it, it seems like very logical. Very logical that, logically it is sound. As soon as we get out of this room, where do we start? My chappal, my shoes, my car, where are you heading to? My home. Why? See, taking your chappal alone is the most sensible thing, don't get me wrong. पता चला मैं बाहर गया, मेरे चप्पल गायब. Vedanta is not an impractical stuff, but the understanding has to be clear. There is always this presupposition wherein everything is that which I have already tagged as mine has to be mine and I have to secure it. And that which is not tagged as mine, we don't tag it as not mine either. We just say it as not yet mine. That is where the entire effort is. Wealth, property, asset, things, beings, we keep amassing it. Now what to talk of the grihastha lakshana. Even in the sannyasa lakshana wherein everything has to be given up, my ashram, my students, my clout, my number, we get caught up. Meaning, we may be talking about it, blabbering about it, but the home run doesn't hit in. It is not about creating this cloud of mine. If it exists, it exists. If it goes away, let it go away. Because my goal is not into either protecting it, conserving it, or securing it. My job is to transcend this I and mine. To find that existential truth. And letting go is not that easy. And we think that we are entrapped. Let me narrate to you a story, a very interesting story. Have you ever seen a Madari? The one who gives road shows with a monkey? They have a very peculiar way of catching monkeys. And I was a witness to it about 25-30 years ago. I still remember it. It was in a very remote village, and suddenly, it is in a village environment wherein everybody's roof is connected. Once you get onto the roof, entire city you can run around just jumping on one roof to the other. That is the kind of structure. I am not exaggerating it. That is how there are some old cities or old villages are built. And suddenly I hear a lot of screeching, screaming sounds, very painful sounds coming from the top somewhere. So we all, cousins, we said, "Chalo dekhte, let's go see what it is." And we climb up, jump, various roofs. And finally we see that there is this group of monkeys making this sound. One of the monkey is caught. Now, how is it caught? There is a glass jar, and in that glass jar all that it has is peanuts, literally peanuts. How is that glass jar? It's a huge one, where it has been fixed to the floor, tied down to the floor. The contents are visible, but how is the neck of it or the mouth of it? The mouth is big enough for a child's hand to go in, and it is long. So what does this monkey do? The monkey puts its hand inside. So the hand goes, barely goes inside. It somehow squeezes in and hand goes inside. And then it grabs the peanuts. As it's trying to pull, what happens? The hand is stuck. The peanut brained monkey, holding on to the peanuts, starts shouting. And the other peanut brain monkeys, instead of helping, they in their own panic start shouting and screaming and creating a mess, a chaos. And literally that monkey is panicking. If you were to get into the brain of that monkey at that moment, the monkey must have been chanting Hanuman, Bhoota Preta, Bhoota Pisacha Nikat Nahi Aave, Mahavira Jab Naam Sunave, Na Se Rog Hare Sab Pira. Why? It feels that there is something holding on. What is actually holding on? There is nothing holding you. But why do we feel stuck? We are not ready to let go. It was a monkey for the peanuts with a peanut brain, I can understand. We have lost our tail. Shouldn't be behaving, according to Darwin, okay, not according to Vedanta. We are detailed. No tail, detail. more evolved intellect. Is the samsara holding on to us, or are we holding on to samsara? We can still be performing all our activities without that holding on. That is the very crux of, that is the very basis of karma yoga. Karma minus karta, kriya still remains. How do we get rooted in that kriya wherein we don't get lost in anything that we can get caught up in? And I am not even worried about the outside world of things and beings that we get carried away by. Because the major issue is right here within. The conviction is, I am not complete unto myself, and the world of things, beings and things I procure and hold on, that gives me a sense of completeness. Because of wrongly identifying myself something other than Satsvarupa, other than the existential reality. And that is the cause of our pain, sorrow, misery. Therefore, what does Lord do? It is like, children always do that. They want some toy. Recently, I was at somebody's house. Those small toy cars, you have to pull them back on their wheels and let them go, and then they shoot. Have you seen such cars? I was at somebody's house. In fact, I was sitting across with that child, pulling that car and letting go. That child was receiving it, and then the child brought in another car. And they said, let us aim it in such a way that 3.5, 4 years fellow. Let us aim it in such a way that they hit each other. I looked at the parent and said, okay. So after 10-15 attempts, we finally managed to hit once. The kid was so happy, ecstatic. He picked up his car, and instead of rolling it on the floor, what did he do? He put it on his head and then started rolling it. And then it got stuck there. He's trying to pull it and it is hurting, and cannot understand why it is so. Now, what is the only way to get that car out? And because the crankiness and the loud shouting and screaming and crying, if you are in that condition, what is the best solution? Say it loudly. Okay. You are just saying cut it. Cut what? Now the sentence is complete. Cut the hair. So quickly the father, he brought out and then pulled all the hair from the car. Similarly, Bhagavan created this beautiful universe for us to enjoy the Leela. And what did we do? Like the child using that car and got stuck in it. And in that stuck mode, what are we trying to do? Pull ourselves clear. The more you pull, the more you hurt. Isn't it? That is how the entire world is. And our indulgence in the world, that is how it is. You get the picture, right? Therefore, the one who releases us from such bondage, mochana kartaraha, is called Rudraha. Mochana from what? Rodana hetu bhutam dukkham dravayati. He flushes it out to give us that moksha. Now, if he is the moksha karaka, we have to understand what does moksha mean. We very arbitrarily use, I need moksha. Even those who are constipated for 3-4 days and then finally one day they go to the bathroom and they got moksha. You have to be clear as to what you are seeking moksha from. What does that word moksha mean? Getting rid of, liberated from. That's a literal meaning. Liberated from what? Because we have a very some kind of an imagination that moksha or nirvana and such things is suddenly you are like an you have loose clothes and there is a halo behind and there is flowing hair and there is a chamak on your face and there is a glitter in your eyes. We have seen enough of media, starting from Amar Chitra Kathas. Suddenly to think that, realization. If you have seen the Buddha book, suddenly he is famished and starving and thinned out, sitting under that Bodhi Vriksha, and suddenly he is enlightened. And what is enlightened? Halo, bright big halo, starting from orange to yellow, deep golden orange to yellow color to white. And then he is all hale and hearty, now susht pusht, and there is that ching, chamak in the eyes. Let's get real. What does liberation mean? Liberation from what? Liberation from all that which seems to be limiting us. See, we instill certain disciplines. But if that discipline which is instilled is not by the self, for the self, it might end up doing really good. But I am not convinced of it. Why am I not convinced of it? Because I assume that this discipline is actually curtailing me, limiting me, therefore I have to rebel against it. I have to fight against it. Meaning basically our nature is to be free. But because of our wrong identification, that which we are supposed to be free of or free from, we are holding on to it, and that which has nothing to do with our bondage or freedom, we are trying to fight our way against it. Identified with our body, mind and intellect, the ego. So where is the limitation? Limitation is not of the Vyakti, Vastu or Desha Kala. Limitation is up here. Because of that limitation, I am attached to clinging on to a person, I am clinging on to a place, I am clinging on to a Vastu, object, or a time or a space. that sense of limitation has to be removed, liberated from that limitation. Because my nature, by nature I am of the nature of freedom. But today's generation, we understand freedom as what? Meri marzi. I am allowed to do whatever I feel like doing, whenever I feel like doing, however long I feel like doing. It's my wish. And we make funny songs out of it. मेरी शादी खुद ना जाऊं, मेरी मर्जी. Have you heard? हाँ जी. That is not the definition of freedom. So we have to understand liberation from what? And then focus on that. The one who brings that wisdom, that knowledge, because bondage is because of ignorance, and that ignorance can be removed only through knowledge, and the one who brings this knowledge to remove that limitation and the dukkha caused because of that limitation is called Rudra. Mochana kartaraha. Bhava is this beautiful existential reality. And that bhava is like that car with the wheels. Where are we? Stuck. And what are we trying to do? Get unstuck. And instead of getting unstuck, we are pulling ourselves and agonizing ourselves and blaming what? I am in this pain and sorrow because of that car. Are you really caused in that pain and limited by that car? It was given so that you enjoy. But instead of enjoying it, what did we do? Messed up with it, got caught into it, entrapped in it, and say, I am entrapped because of the car. And by pulling at it, trying to either run away from it or run for it is not the solution. That which is making us run for it or run away from it, that has to be worked on and cut aside. And that can be done only through the wisdom of knowledge. The one who gives us that wisdom of knowledge is called Rudra. Namo bhavaya cha rudraya cha. Salutations to that bhava, salutations to that mochana kartaraha, Rudraha. We will read another mantra, but we will not look into the meaning. We will save it for the next time, next month. The reason I am not completing it, and I am completing half an hour early, is anyway tomorrow is also cancelled, and I need at least an hour to go through the next mantras. So I am just concluding, because Sharvaya and Pashupataye have to deal with the other two aspects, and the other three aspects within the two words, and it requires equal justification. Namah Sharvaya cha Pashupataye cha. Sharvaya is the destructor, the one who destroys. Pashupataye, the one who is the lord of the Pashu. We will see the meaning next month, next week. So short, but we conclude early today. Usually it is said that whenever, even by mistake, if the school or the place where you go to learn lets you go early, people get out happy. I got half an hour early. I don't hope that is the case here, but Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I'll just conclude that section. Meanwhile, you can bring in your Guru Dakshina and offer it in that little thing there. And we have 2 sweets today as prasada. One is here and one is there. So please, both of you, distribute it to them. Eat it outside though. Hari Om.